Hello and welcome to today's edition of EduTalk. EduTalk is proudly brought to you by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the Teacher Education Journal. We are live on Joy Prime, Joy News, GTV and Ministry of Education channel, MOE channel. He's a former student leader. He's been to a number of ministries. I would not want to go into all of it just yet, but I know that he's identified with education from a very early stage. Please. He needs no introduction at this point. Let's welcome the Minister of Education, Mr. Haruna Iddrisu. Thank you so much for being on EduTalk.
And thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to us discussing the subject of education in a manner that assures Ghanaians that President Mahama and the NDC remains deeply committed to reforming and investing appropriately and adequately in the provision of quality education. His desire is to ensure access to inclusive, equitable quality education from kindergarten to primary school.
Okay.
And the emphasis throughout the world, if you want to get it right, is to invest more in foundational learning at the basic level by way of infrastructure, quality improvement, deployment of teachers, and upholding best standards.
Okay. When you get a minister who is a footballer, he just kickstarts and that's it. And we'll take a quick break. But what's the story behind you and your love for zebras?
Oh, the calmness of the zebra. I just like the calmness,
of the zebra.
And maybe that should define how calm I'll be as we do the end.
I pray so. Let's take a quick break on EduTalk. When we return, we'll get talking because he set the tone in terms of what we're going to be talking about. So it's a good time for you to spread the word about EduTalk. We are on all social media platforms, live on Facebook, YouTube, amongst others. It's a good time for you to spread the word about it. We're right back after the break. I am Emefa Apau, and this is EduTalk. You're welcome back to EduTalk. It's on Joy News, Joy Prime, GTV, and of course, Ministry of Education channel. And like I said, we're on all social media platforms. I bet you're ready now. Our minister is also set. And of course, there's a lot of areas we are hoping to cover. It's been almost a year since you took over as Minister of Education. And what would you say has been a journey? How would you describe it, you say? If you were to give maybe 2 words or a word or a sentence, how would you describe your journey so far?
Challenging. You probably may even have a diagnostic view of what the issues and problems are affecting the provision of quality education, but you are unable, or probably, for use of a better word, helpless in fixing some of those challenges, and much of it border on the availability of adequate financial resources to respond to that challenge. So I'll say that overall, I have a good team here, a team that is very dedicated to working to ensure our success and the success of the government. What we lack is the financial muscle to respond to the issues as they arise. So for instance, take for instance, CTAC or education teachers are on strike. The resolution doesn't lie with the Minister for Education or the Minister of Education. It lies more with the Minister for Finance. If he pays them off, then the conflict is resolved. But for us, what is worrying is when the academic calendar is disrupted, it affects the planning and the career goal and career development of the affected student. And we would want a safe, secure academic environment and a peaceful academic environment where there's industrial harmony and industrial peace. There's hardly a day passing without a member of parliament or a community chief visiting this office to say that I need infrastructure. I need a 6-classroom block for a primary school. We need furniture for our school. Young girls are lying on the floor writing. We need a girls' or a boys' dormitory.
Yeah.
You just saw the delegation stepping out from Kurmasa in the Solar Tuna of Northeast region. No secondary school between Tuna and Wa. We need a secondary school infrastructure. Or you have a Brig Girls or St. Xavier of Assisi say that we need an ICT infrastructure to encourage girls to take up IT skills, so that we have more women equipped for those skills. So every other day you seem to have a picture on understanding what the issues are, and you don't have the resources to respond to them. So I'll say very challenging. We started off with the National Education Forum, which was held in Ho under the auspices of President John Dramani Mahama, for us to have an understanding of what the problems and issues were. So we discussed at that forum infrastructure, the lack of it, the inadequacy of it, education financing, standards, teachers, professional development of teachers, and then what our emphasis should be on the future. STEM, science, mathematics, engineering, and technology should be our drive. So in our manpower planning and focus, it's important that as a country, we project ahead of the world, that you want to train more people in science, mathematics, and engineering to prepare them for an acutely uncertain world, and a world which will be driven largely and more by technology. Like it or not, Ghana has to adopt to AI, artificial intelligence. We currently, as I have repeatedly said, we are reviewing curriculum at the kindergarten to basic school level. And for me, that's very significant. In reviewing the curriculum, you want to be able to introduce one, ethics and integrity in the early training of learners, so that they inculcate the values of responsibility, patriotism, and integrity at that particular level. And you want to be able to introduce financial literacy, that growing up they know how to handle matters relating to their own personal finances.
I would want you to hold the thought on the curriculum issue, because I would want us to delve a bit deeper into it. But you mentioned that it's been challenging and helpless, but that's not what, at least even the president sees. During the free tertiary education for disabilities, during that launch, I recall him mention that your ministry is by far one of the best performing. So it's interesting that you describe it as a bit challenging and helpless.
You've taken my comment out of context. I'm saying when demands are made to you to support infrastructure, you don't have money to respond to it. That's what I meant.
So I'm wondering how you've become one of the best performing amidst all these challenges.
The eye that see cannot see itself. So I'm not the one to know how I'm faring. And I do not think that it's even appropriate to want to judge a minister for education performance in a year or even in 4 years. Education is about the future. What seeds are we sowing today? You reap them 10, 20, 25 years. And that is how we should be measured. Now, the president launched the STEM boxes. I should give credit first to Vice President Nana Opoku-Agyeman. She, at her time here as Minister for Education, put together a committee when she observed, based on evidence, that mathematics and science education was deteriorating, was not in the best of shapes. So she put together a committee which worked to support STEM, get teachers capacity, get training for teachers, get those STEM equipments and boxes, so that you move teaching from theory to practical training, from an abstract teaching of a student. You are teaching a student digestion. He doesn't know how the stomach looks like, which part of the body is the stomach, where that is. So we got that lunch, and then subsequently you see one of those 10 boxes. Okay. It's our desire to revolutionize science and mathematics education. So that was for upper basic education. So this is for upper primary, from primary 4, primary 5, primary 6. Then they will continue with our STEM initiative that we launched with iTech Global of UK and Ghana, which is also supporting us in the STEM space.
Now, let's talk about inclusivity and equity. In your introductory remarks, it was one of the key things for you. I'm hoping that we'll delve a bit into it as to how we are hoping that every learner in Ghana would be considered when it comes to inclusivity and equity, you would say?
Inclusive education would mean that we have to prioritize the education needs of the vulnerable and the marginalized. And I think President Mahama have gotten that very right with his pledge to provide free tertiary education for persons with disability. I just got the Get Fund Amendment Act passed into law, and for me that's fundamental, or say that's significant, that from next year, 2026, we should see education for special needs education, or learners with special needs will enjoy free education under John Dramani Mahama. For me, by far, that is the most significant inclusive initiative in our educational provision we've had in the last 3 decades. You don't expect a visually impaired student in Akropong School of the Blind not have access to food because government has not released grant or government have not provided grant. So the amendment to the Get Fund Act was to deal with 3 essential issues in the provision of quality education in Ghana. One, Nana Addo Dankwa, the previous government, introduced free senior high school. Commendable as that may be in terms of transforming access to secondary education, he failed to provide for the infrastructure to support free secondary education. He failed to provide reliable, adequate, sustainable financing for free senior high school. President Mahama have done that. With the amendment of Get Fund, we are securing and sustaining free senior high school. So that double assures every Ghanaian that free senior high school has come to stay. But what free senior high school has done, as initiated by the previous government, is simply to expand access, but not quality. So you have improved access to secondary education, but not access to quality secondary education. So we need to do more in order to be able to improve the quality of secondary education. The might talk about issue now is about performance at the West Africa certificate exams. It's only in Ghana that when students pass, the students are praised. When they fail, blame a minister or blame a government. That's a paradox and an irony for me. Now, what worked out was that we strengthened supervision and monitoring, and invigilation was strengthened. But I want to believe, upon my examination of the examiner's report, that the results reflected real outcomes of what to be expected. I shared this with you. There's a student whose birth date is March, secondary school completed, and the student can't spell March on his birthday. Yet he passed. He got excellent aggregate. How did that happen?
It wasn't examination tension.
I say he cannot spell March.
Wow.
March. If it was necessary, maybe then you say he can't spell necessary, as I probably struggle or somebody struggles spelling it. That's March. He can't spell March yet. He was born in the month of March. You've seen instances where we are told that a student beat up a teacher for refusing to give them opportunity for exam malpractices. What does that reflect? we need to work to restore integrity in
How
the
intentional
exams.
are you about
We are
restoring that kind of integrity?
If you recall, even before WASI, myself and my team were in the Bono region. I spent the night between Babato, Kintampo, through Techima. It was to send a certain signal because some areas in that particular corridor were notorious for exam malpractices. And we needed to tell them that we'll come after you. And probably that worked. But what is important, after evaluating the examiner's report, many of the learners struggle with application.
Okay.
So maybe they prepared for just memory, memorization of concepts. But this time around, the questions focus on application of what they learned. I think that let us all commit to improving the provision of quality secondary education.
I'll take a quick break right here on EduTalk. When we return, I'm sure that we'll get to wrap the board nicely on the rest of the issues that we are supposed to touch on, the social interventions that have been introduced, amongst others. Then we can wrap up on EduTalk. Please stay with us. We're right back. This is EduTalk. You're welcome back, and it's proudly possible or made possible by the Ministry of Education and, of course, the Teacher Education Journal. And my guest today is the Minister of Education. If you missed out on the first part, you've really missed out big time. But, of course, you can catch up at this point. And we've been talking about a number of issues, but you started off your tenure with the Education Forum. We talked a bit about it. You touched on it a bit. But before that Education Forum, there were those who were of the view that maybe you are reviewing education so that you could scrap the free SHS amongst others. At least a year has gone and it is still being implemented. In fact, you are improving quality as well. But let's talk a bit about the forum. What would you say were the key things that stood out for you from that forum that you're actually implementing?
One of the things which, subsequent to the Education Forum, President Mahama wants to do is that he says that focus on community day schools in populated urban areas. So if you are building a school in Kaswa or in Nima, just make it a day school. So for the president, debordenize in the urban areas, focus on community day schools. Then in the rural areas, you can have the concept of boarding schools because statistics and evidence have revealed that many of the schools without boarding in the rural areas, the numbers are reducing. Maybe they have a population of 800, you see it falling to 500, 400, and 300. Okay. So we will walk the two-pronged approach, community day schools in urban areas and maybe rural boardinized free senior high schools. Now, to get it right, Ghana will have to invest about 20% of its GDP on education. That is probably not the case. Many hear that education has the largest budget. Yes, we do, but it goes to compensation. If you hear 33 billion, about 30 billion will account for salaries because we have the largest workforce in the country with teachers. So even when you have instances where teachers fail licensure exams, instead of us looking at where we fell, you are interested in how you knocked off? No. So if teachers fail licensure exam, why would you be surprised if students fail WASI? It means that the quality of your teachers may also impact learning outcomes. That is not, Ghana has one of the best professional teachers across the country. No doubt about that. We need to deploy them and we need to keep an update on their continuous professional development, expose them to new technologies like AI and other issues. But we also, you spoke about social intervention, and I said that to President Mahama and to the NDC credit, one of the most impactful initiatives of President Mahama is the no fee stress, where you have first-year university students having the state support them to pay admission academic facility fee to guarantee that no student should be excluded from accessing higher tertiary education because of financial inability or the poor standing of the parent or the student himself.
Yeah.
It's working well. We are now talking about an investment of about 586 million Ghana cedis per year. That we've gotten lunch. My own idea, having learned the no fee stress, was to look forward. We've also gotten the National Ghana Scholarship Authority established with a legal framework for the first time in the history of Ghana since 1961-63. This is the first time we are using legislation to nip in the mud, cronyism, corruption, abuse, lack of merit in the award of government scholarships across the country. So my idea was that if I saw the functioning and operationalization of the Ghana Scholarship Authority against the Student Loan Trust, which is dealing with no fee stress and fees for persons with tertiary disability, maybe into the future we should establish a scholarship and bursaries authority in Ghana, and then you have it focused on two issues: no fee stress and then award of scholarship, both local and foreign. But currently the scholarship authorities bedeviled with many problems. There are many Ghanaian students abroad who are unable to complete their courses for lack of payment of their tuition fees, stipends, and others. We need to have dedicated financing for scholarship. I tried, but I didn't get it supported of dedicating a certain amount of oil revenue, however insignificant, maybe 2.5%, to support the bursaries and scholarship, because every country you must be seen investing in your human capital. That will bode well for the future of the country, help you to ameliorate poverty, help you to improve healthcare, help you accelerate your literacy rate, and then help you generally in your social and economic development.
You may not have been.
So a priority must be investment in human capital, and I'm a strong advocate of that.
Okay, I'm hoping that in the next year, maybe in 2 years, when we get to sit again, as Minister of Education, hopefully it's too far away. Okay, well, when we sit again, I'm hoping to hear one thing that is currently an issue that you're hoping will be a thing of the past at the next sitting with you on EduTalk.
Yes, free senior high school is the much talk about controversial education policy in Ghana. The outcome of WASI, not the best for the country, not the best for the student. It affects their career path planning and development. So government is deeply concerned and will do what it takes, every resource that it takes to improve the quality of secondary education.
Are you going to reintroduce APO for students?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
We'll be very strict with invigilation. We enforce standards and integrity in the provision, but quality assurance and quality improvement in the delivery of education, teacher professional development. We'll look at all those variables in order that we can improve it. But I think much of the problem in Ghana has to do with protocol admission. You know, I shared a story where a very significant person called me and said, "Hey, Haruna, you're not helping my son or daughter get admission. Why are you doing this?" So I said, "Hello, aggregate." Then he said 40, 41. And I said, "So you expect the minister to help you with aggregate 41?
So what did you do about it?
In the name of protocol?" I said, I'm unable to help him. You see, aggregate 6, 12, 18, 24, 32. I think that part of the problem of free senior high school is that what is it doing to assessment? Why do you write exams? It's not a train. Everybody can sit anywhere in the train. That's not good enough. And those were the kind of things we said we needed to reform. Now, what government is doing, and that's President Mahama's commitment to improving both access and quality of secondary education, is to convert 30 Category C schools to B and convert 10 Category B schools to A and expand infrastructure in the existing Category A schools. We've gotten World Bank funding of $180 million US. Currently, the World Bank has a procurement team working with our team here to do need assessment, and then want to be able to build a special dedicated school for special needs, either in Ho or in Akropong.
Should be in Ho.
So for me, Haruna, what I can be remembered for at this ministry is the provision of free education for learners with special needs. That will go in history as happening under my life working for President Mahama at the Ministry of Education. I'm heartwarmed that that category of marginalized, vulnerable people will now be assured. I'm told that originally they were fed on 8 cedis a day. We're increasing that to 15 cedis.
Wow.
Get Fund is making adequate provision of 65 to 100 million, and it should become an integral part of every other Get Fund formula. So what we have done, if you follow the debate, is to take financing of free senior high school, financing of free education for persons with disability, and financing of learners with special needs off the consolidated fund into the Get Fund. And the Get Fund has a portfolio of 9.9 billion. Why can't you make 100 million available for learners with special needs? But what we will do additionally will be to support special needs education with assistive devices. Those who have hearing impairment, and we're able to get devices to assist them, and then with brailles. And one of the things for which I also want to be remembered for, Ghana currently has 12 official languages. I want to make sign language the 13th and make it mandatory as part of our reach to persons with disability.
And in wrapping up, of course, you can't sit with Honorable Haruna Iddrisu and not ask if you do not miss your days as a student leader. Comparing to what you're seeing now.
Not at all.
You don't?
I miss my days as minority leader.
As minority leader, rather, okay. Okay, but seeing what is happening now on the student front.
Parliamentary work.
Oh, more parliamentary. Okay.
I enjoy the complex and complicated process of lawmaking excites me every time.
You can tell.
I don't see an opportunity to be part of it.
Thank you so much for spending time with us on EduTalk. That's the Minister for Education, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu. Another exciting edition of EduTalk comes your way, same time, same place on this channel. I am MFA Pao. This has been EduTalk, made possible by Ministry of Education, Teacher Education Journal. Have a good day.